This one YouTube video killed this cuber's career. In 2014 in the New Jersey final, the cuber named Drew Brads was one solve away to get the world record average on the Pyraminx. And he did get the world record, but it all goes downhill after that. The night after he did the solve, he posted it to YouTube, like everybody would do. But just after a day that he posted this video, there'd be discussions on how he turned the cube once, right before the timer actually started. And even though that he didn't know that he did that, and it wouldn't have affected the solve almost at all, that's against the WCA laws, so that world record had to be taken away from him.
What is the most difficult Rubik's Cube ever created? To everybody who's never solved a 3x3 before, trust me, it's way harder than that. It's even harder than this Rubik's Cube, which literally changes colors. And it's even harder than the 31x31, the record biggest Rubik's Cube. And the reason that it's the hardest Rubik's Cube to solve is because there's actually no official method to solve it with, because it varies so much. It, of course, is the Minx of Madness, the biggest dodecahedron Rubik's Cube ever created, and it has trillion times more combinations that could be in than particles in the universe. It's so big that it has more than 6,000 moving parts, so I guess that answers the question. 43 quintillion states that the Rubik's Cube can be in. But how? In other words, that's more combinations than water droplets in the ocean. Now, you probably don't believe me, but this is how. Okay, maybe not that. The cube consists of 20 pieces which rotate around a core, and there are 12 edge pieces, which are these little guys. And they can each be put in 12 different slots in random order, which I sort of know. I just copied this from Google, okay? I'm not that smart. Since they can all be rotated, then multiply that by 2 to the 12th power. And for edge pieces, there are 8 edge pieces which can be oriented in one of 3 slots. There are some impossible combinations, so you have to divide it by 12. And that number comes out to be...
Where did the popular YouTuber JPerm go? After posting almost weekly for years, he's recently stopped, and he hasn't posted in 3 months. He's most well known for teaching many people how to solve a Rubik's Cube, me included, with his tutorial having over 40 million views. For him being so influential, and him being directly attributed to the success of Speed Cube Shop, according to Google, it's almost impossible that he could quit. And well, thankfully that's true. Like many YouTubers, including Mumbo Jumbo, 3D Printing Presser, and many more, he has just been suffering burnout, and he says that he's gonna start posting again. I think that everybody's going to be really excited whenever that happens. And with his Rubik's Cube brand and mega line of merch, it's not looking like he's gonna leave the cubing community anytime soon. I guess now we all know that Red Bull sponsors some weird and insane things, but I think that this takes the cake. In November 17th of 2019, Red Bull live streamed the Red Bull Rubik's Cube World Cup of 2019. The company that sponsors people jumping off of cliffs and people diving from space hosted a cubing World Cup. And that still makes sense. The speed cubing community has grown in the past few years. But not on their gaming channel, the same channel that they posted Ninja's epic setup video. Why not on their normal channel? These are the top richest cubers in the world. Coming in at last is Yusheng Du with an impressive net worth of $0. In a 3-way tie, we have Max Park, Felix Dimdegs, and Cameron Brown, the CEO of Speed Cube Shop, with an estimated net worth of $5 million. But they're nothing compared to the top 2. Okay, yes, $5 million isn't a lot. In second place, we have Phil Yu, the CEO of The Cubicle, with an estimated net worth of $61 million. That's more than Mr. Beast. And unsurprisingly, being in number 1 is Erno Rubik, with a net worth of $100 million. Being the creator of the Rubik's Cube, I think we all saw that coming. You will not believe how expensive the most expensive Rubik's Cube in the world is. It was made in the mid-90s by the DCI, one of the most prestigious diamond companies in the world. It's covered in normal diamonds and red diamonds, and it was made to celebrate the 15th year anniversary of the Rubik's Cube going international. And the actual tech inside of the Rubik's Cube cost less than $5 to make, so it turns horribly. And the actual cost of this Rubik's Cube is $2.5 million. How quick is the Rubik's Cube possible to solve? If we're talking about humans, then the world record right now is 3.47 seconds, and has stood for a while. But a robot has just recently solved one in less than 0.5 seconds. That's just insane. So that does mean that Rubik's Cube can be solved in less than a second, but will it ever be solved in less than a second by a human? Well, theoretically, if somebody is smart enough and they can calculate every position in their head, and since every Rubik's Cube position can be solved in less than 20 moves, we could say that the quickest possible record would be 0.6 seconds. Do you know that there's a $2 million Rubik's Cube made in the 90s that literally turns worse than a $2 Rubik's Cube? What a ripoff. And did you know that you could buy a Rubik's Cube that literally changes colors over time? It's literally impossible to solve. I've yet to solve it, by the way. And there's an insane Rubik's Cube that you don't know what any of the spots are until it actually lights up whenever you get it into the correct spot. That just seems insanely hard. And did you know that there's a 33x33 Rubik's Cube? As if the original one wasn't hard enough. And be honest, is Max Park hiding a secret? So in January of 2022, he posted this video, and it was him showing off a 2.94 second solve, which is almost a second slower than the official record. So do you think that he deserves to be the new record holder? But what he said at the end of this video is insane. He says, I mean that he solved it even quicker off camera. Whenever I went over the solve, it looked extremely smooth and lucky, but still not impossible. So we could say that it was a bit quicker, but I don't think that it could have gotten much quicker than that. But that still begs the question.